Welcome to Blockbusters, the semi-occasional film critique show where we're dicks about films on the internet. It's never been done. Here we take a large, grossing, popular blockbuster and with as few changes as possible, try and improve the end quality of the product. Don't get me wrong, I love a big, dumb, fun blockbuster in the summer, but I've picked up some bad habits along the years. Have I ever made a blockbuster? Nope, but I have seen Shrek the Third, so I think I know perfection when I see it. Also, who's wearing the Jurassic Park t-shirt in this relationship, guys? Thank you. Our first film today is Jurassic World. I mean, come on. Jurassic World was not a terrible film. Hell, it wasn't even really a bad film. But it was a cliche summer blockbuster. And as a result, we did some loud and silly things. The film had a lot of good setups and ideas, but then when it came to it, didn't really do anything with them. A functioning park full of dinosaurs, guys! Come on! All in all, good film, 7.5 out of 10. Now to make Colin Trevorrow cry. Let's get to it. Enjoy the park. Jurassic World's greatest strength by far is its visual style. The visuals and aesthetic of the park itself. It's the premise of this film. It has ties to Universal Studios, SeaWorld, hell, they actually have a Universal ride. I feel like I've been here before, and that's a huge selling point to me, as I grew up as Jurassic Park first as a ride, and then later as a movie in the 90s. And it feels like the real deal. Everything down to the small details, the main street, the bright colours, even down to the product placement and the Costa on every turn. It's accurate. And seeing a disaster monster movie take place in a theme park is a rare thing. Hasn't been done since Jaws 3D in SeaWorld. Wow. From the trailer and premise of this film alone, I can tell you that the main focus has to be tourism. Focus on the attractions, have a couple sequences on the actual rides themselves. Sure, they may not be crazy thrilling, everything is breaking and dying, but the director needs to reserve a couple more scenes to make the audience feel like a tourist. Enjoy the rides, put them in the seat, make them see firsthand the wonder of a park full of dinosaurs. It's beautiful. That's why Jurassic Park River Adventures was sick of shit about. You heard me. Better than Jurassic Park 2, 3, and 4. Owen Wilson can suck my dick. Contrary to belief, in this film, Chris Pratt doesn't actually play a character. Owen Grady is more of an archetype. He's Indy Jones, he's action man, he's hero. He's the infallible action badass, but does Jurassic World need a character like that? Jurassic Park is so good and memorable and real because its characters feel real. We didn't have soldiers and raptor riders, now we had some normal guys who dug up bones for a living. Experts, a ranger, a lawyer. Jeff Goldblum, not your usual lineup of action heroes. They did that for a reason. Having everyday guys face off against dinos is that bit more real and authentic. Rather than the Disney stunt show JCPenney who has the survival ability of James fucking Bond. I'm not saying you can't have these badass characters in films. They're great fun, they're a laugh. But it's just another thing that stops Jurassic World from becoming an instant classic. More Piranha 3D than Spielberg. Our main character had no character. Do you see where I'm going with this? But if you are gonna have Clint Thunderguns, then you gotta do one thing. And that's kill him off. Yeah, it sounds brutal, but every single film with an overwhelming, strong character that everyone else depends on knows that that's really the only route you take. Spy Kids 3 knew this shit, dude. You go, Elijah Wood. Rest in peace. Either pick that, or pick a slightly fallible action badass. You could have this big, beefy Velociraptor expert, but you gotta show him bleed. You gotta see him mess up a couple shots, throw up, be scared. Even if you're the lead, there's no shame in pissing yourself when you come to face with this. If he's absolute perfection, then he's never gonna really be in danger, and we're not gonna care about him as an audience goer. Make him human or make him dead, that's what Samuel Davis said. More cynicism / identity. What's the theme of every single Jurassic Park movie? Don't fuck with nature. But after 4 films, we know. We get it. I don't expect a summer blockbuster of all things to show humility anymore. They are products, so they're not all that self-aware. And yet this character, Jake Johnston, is the most meta thing I've ever seen in a blockbuster. He's the source of a bunch of comic relief. Wearing one damn cool shirt and making 4 full references to being a sequel, following up Jurassic Park. Some nudge nudge wink wink comments which sort of verge into meta-narrative. Is he talking about dinos, or is he talking about the film industry? Same thing. Along with Chris Pratt's line of
bricks out genetic modification would up the wow factor.
They're dinosaurs, wow enough.
This paired with the whole Costa consumerism angle the film was seeming to take at one point, and this could have been a totally different film. Imagine that, a blockbuster with its own identity that it didn't rip off from the 90s. A message. What could have been, huh? Remember when films were about things? Don't rely on nostalgia. This goes for a lot of films coming out lately, so Trevorrow, I know you're a sad little man who has never smiled, but don't cry over this one. There's a weird Hollywood trend, or let's be honest, chronic dependence on taking stuff from the 80s and the 90s and having a big old nostalgia boner. Hollywood capitalizes on 90s nostalgia because we're such a nostalgia-loving generation. It's really weird. But will it be our undoing? Terminator, Alien, Star Wars, Ghostbusters, Carrie points to yes. Fuck RoboCop! It's a nasty trend of banking in on already existing properties and names, and a sad, desperate clamour to recreate the past. Sure, exploring the destroyed ruins of Jurassic Park, sick. Daunting, it's great, but the scene doesn't go anywhere. Other than the whole, like, oh hey, look at that thing from that other movie. That was good that time. The Indominus Rex. Finally, the main thing that sets this film apart from the rest of the series is the way it treats its dinos. These are, at the end of the day, just animals. Carnivorous, hungry, like to hunt animals, and they can be brutal, but they're not movie monsters. They're not serial killers, there's no dino vendettas. In Jurassic Park 3, the Spinosaurus snaps a human's neck knowingly. Why would a dinosaur even think to do that? And the Indominus Rex is largely the same. It's just a B-slasher horror movie monster rather than a living, breathing animal. And the worst thing about the Indominus is that it has a perfect origin story that nothing is done with. An animal created by humans with a high IQ given the zoo treatment. Not allowed to hunt, not allowed to eat properly, deprived of the world, confused with its identity. Jesus Christ, it may just be an animal, but that is perfect and simple an origin as you can get. It happens all the time, just look at SeaWorld and orcas. Zoos and big parks don't know how to contain exotic animals. And so they created a psycho dinosaur. I was waiting for this one to happen, honestly. I was sat down in the theatre being like, oh, that's why they brought the scientist dude back. Why was the scientist dude back? Oh, well, he was in that first movie, and wasn't that just the best film ever? Yeah, we know that movie. We came here for a new one. Now, we could have been onto something here. If only they'd made the Indominus Rex sympathetic. If only we'd stopped the big dinosaur battle to have a think about how this was super tragic. The monster is man. No, but seriously, some daunting commentary on a big scale about the SeaWorld, about animal captivity. Humans going too far, but in a new way. Something fictional being a contemporary subtext for our times. That almost sounds smart, and yet it's something that films do all the time. And with that, Jurassic World has been fixed. You got any more complaints or suggestions you want to add in? Remember, it's not bullying if it's constructive criticism. Let me know which blockbuster you want to see blockbusted next time. Anyway, you look... Don't tell anyone this, but you're actually my favourite. Yeah, you. Don't tell the other commenters, they're not to know.